We know he's the best at receiving.
Everybody ready?
Turns out number 80's pretty good at giving.
Go.
Of course, it has to be a game.
Here we go.
80 seconds for these kids to get whatever they want at Toys R Us.
Blu-ray player, okay.
They're all separated from their parents, Casey's, with CPS.
This way, this way.
11-year-old Nick and his brother and sister are in the custody of his uncle. Jeff is pushing the cart.
We have 6 kids in the house and only one person providing, so Christmas gets pretty tough. So this is stuff I couldn't get him.
11-year-old Ladavian Stringer is the oldest of 4. The games, the toys, for his siblings, getting himself a Kindle reader.
I read a lot. I mean, like, a lot. It's my hobby.
Already learning.
Thought about his sisters and brothers, which is a new thing, you know.
It's a workshop in a wallet. This Santa carries a black coat. Good thing.
$4,751.60.
It's not all about toys.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
my 3 brothers would want your autograph.
It's about touch.
You know, you get to put a smile on kids' faces for the holidays. Kids get a chance to get what they want for Christmas, and that's all that matters.
And this is the real touchdown.
I can't thank you enough.
Appreciate it.
Hey.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks so much.
You're very welcome.
They made the list. He checked it twice.
That's a gift card. I need it. I'll be back.
You got it?
Jeff and Nick brought their own sleigh.
All right. Take this home to the family. Everybody's going to have a good Christmas.
As for this Santa, he's got his other job to worry about.
Probably the biggest game, you know, in this franchise's history.
And that's just one game. For these kids, this day will last a lifetime.
Cereal.
Jeremy Desel, KHOU, 11 News.
Just show them how you do it.
Little Lindsay might be small,
And let go with your fingers.
but she sure can cast.
Good cast.
This 5-year-old talks like a fishing veteran.
I got a big one.
Her fish tail's a whopper, all right.
Can you reel it in?
Yes.
Here, there are some options. Rainbow trout, bass, even catfish, limit 5 per day.
We were expecting to catch catfish.
Lindsay had her secret weapon. A tip from Mom.
I put the hot dog on
The hook. Did you have mustard on the hot dog?
No.
No. What about ketchup?
No.
A bun?
No.
And then, just like an expert,
I waited until I got one, and then I got one.
not just any fish, this one, ferocious.
It had big teeth.
Just ask her brother, 6-year-old Jack.
It bit me.
Hard.
Right here.
It bit him deep and he bled real bad.
The chutes kept the fish in a bucket and turned it over to Texas Parks and Wildlife, who determined it's wild, all right. A red piranha, Pygocentris naturari, native to South America.
Piranha. Oh my God.
Definitely not Texas.
Somebody had to dump that.
That's exactly what officials from Texas Parks and Wildlife think happened. The drought this year has kept the water level at Tom Bass Park very low. In fact, I should be drowning standing where I am right here, but that's also kept the water temperature up, and that's good for piranha. Seems everybody that's ever had a little nibble at the lake has a fish tail. But how many people can tell a tale with real bite? Like catching a piranha as her first fish ever.
Michael Gainey, 7th Missouri Cavalry.
It is an honor roll.
Rufus Kendall, Citizen Teamster.
Landsman Peter Keenan, USS Morning Light.
Lives lost for America.
Michael Boyle, 2nd New York Veteran Cavalry.
Forgotten names without even a headstone to remind.
Our job is to remember the guys who died for what they believed in.
Remembered to a crowd of 5, under the live oaks that are younger than those honored.
Private Joseph Heck, 9th Wisconsin Infantry.
Somewhere on the horizon, beyond the grazing grass, just past the tree line, there are 3 unmarked pits.
And it's a perfect military layout north-south direction.
Believed to be the final resting place of more than 100 Union soldiers.
George Washington Croce of the 14th Kansas Cavalry
died here as captured prisoners. Sergeant Lizzarelli expected a bit of a lonely tribute in this very remote place, but when he arrived here, he was in for a bit of a surprise. Someone else is remembered. Not just one tribute left behind, but 2.
And I don't know where this came from, but I bet they came here and put it here in memory of him. It's a Memorial Day miracle, in my opinion.
The story of George Washington Croce, the other, a simple message.
These brave men, thank you.
To all Nameless graves, nameless tribute.
Doesn't need a name. An American left it there. That's all that matters to me.
You don't need names to remember.
That's what should happen. I mean, even if you just stop for a minute at home and, you know, a moment of silence or put a flag up or something, you should remember the people that made our way of life possible.
Especially those left in a nameless, isolated, lonely place. Louis LeGess still gets around fine, thanks. 90 years of memories to carry.
Age, you get to where it slips your mind for a while, but it's always been there with you.
One always on top.
7:55 is when it started.
He was 19, getting ready for church that Sunday morning, on board the battleship USS West Virginia, when the battle station's calls blared.
Looked out a porthole, and I could see 2 torpedoes coming toward the ship. And one of them hit forward of my position, one hit aft of me.
Explosions, pipes, bursting all around.
That's the last thing I remember.
It may have gone dark for Louis, but it was much darker back home, because here, Louis was dead.
This office has been advised of the death of your son, the above-named veteran.
First the telegram, then the newspaper headlines, even a memorial service. Easy to understand why.
Where I was, for 100 and some odd feet, there was nothing there, no deck at all. So I don't know. We took 9 torpedoes on that side, 7 of them not below where I was.
What happened in the wreck of that ship is lost to history. Hours after the carnage stopped, it was the chief bosun whose grim duty was gathering the lost.
Picked me up and to put me in the thing to go to be buried for the burial detail, and somebody said, well, he moved an eyelash, he's still alive.
A miracle in the midst of madness.
Until I woke up 3 days later and the hospital ship Solus.
But not all the history is in his head. There's material of all kinds from back in those historic days, including some that was unexpected. The yellowed papers all hold something interesting, but this holds something else. Found a year after Pearl Harbor, the contents of Louis's wallet. That's all he has to touch from that day. Everything else he owned, gone forever. But the images of those moments, those never leave.
You can't get away from it. It's in your psyche. You can't get away from it. I mean, if you just sit, you just start thinking about the war. I mean, that's the biggest thing that ever happened in my life.
How do you preserve the enormity of that so that it's just not lost to time?
You don't. You can't save any of it.
That doesn't mean he won't try. Jeremy Desel, KHOU, 11 News.
Unbelievable.
It is an incredible story.
It's really something. That's why they nicknamed them the greatest generation.
That's right.
All righty.
Still to come tonight, the Texans sport new Letterman jackets.